Lisbon was the final stop of our European tour, and we couldn't have chosen a better destination. The city immediately won us over with its cheery pastel buildings, delicious fresh seafood, and its unique mix of attractions. It also didn't hurt that we had clear blue skies the whole week we were there. The following video will highlight 20 things to do in Lisbon, and we hope it will give you a few ideas of some of the sights this beautiful city has to offer.
Our first stop of the day was São Jorge Castle, which is an old Moorish fortification that sits on a hill overlooking Lisbon and the Tagus River. You can get some nice panoramic views of the city from here, and they also have peacocks roaming the grounds.
Miradouro das Portas do Sol is one of the many lookout points in Lisbon that offers postcard-perfect views of the city. This particular terrace overlooks the Alfama district, and it is always popular with tourists.
Carmo is a medieval convent that was ruined during the 1755 earthquake, and today it is used as an archaeological museum. It's a strange feeling walking down the ruined nave of the church and seeing blue skies above your head, but that's exactly what makes it worth a visit. Good morning from Lisbon. We made it to Portugal, and today is our first day out sightseeing, and our first order of business had to be food, of course. So today we're actually trying this, and this is called pastéis de nata or pastéis de Belém, and it's basically an egg custard tart, and it looks absolutely delicious. These actually originated over at the Jeronimous Monastery, which is just over there, and we're going to be showing you that later, and it was a recipe created by the monks. So it looks like they were good bakers, guys. Pretty tasty looking.
So we picked these up from the original store where they were first produced, and it was absolute chaos inside. And something that's really cool is that the first time we ever tried these was actually in Asia when we were in Macau, a former Portuguese settlement.
Yes, and you can find these in Brazil and Hong Kong, anywhere where the Portuguese went.
Yeah, exactly.
But now it's time to add this to our little tarts.
So what we have here is we have a pack of cinnamon and icing sugar.
Yes.
And so that's going to give it an extra sweet kick.
Let's sprinkle that on. Before, but never with icing sugar and cinnamon, so I think it's going to be extra special.
The winning combo.
That's nice. Wow. Still warm, fresh out of the oven. It's really nice. Have a look. I really like this because sometimes when you have an egg tart, it tastes like cooked egg, and that's just wrong. Dessert should not taste like egg. But this is like a really nice creamy custard, very sweet. It tastes like a proper dessert. I'm happy. So like I mentioned earlier, this recipe originated in the Jeronimous Monastery, and this is because apparently monasteries and convents used a lot of egg whites in order to starch their clothes. Don't ask me how this is done, because I've never used egg whites to starch my clothes, but apparently this meant they had a lot of egg yolks left over, and that's how they started baking and created this wonderful recipe, which was eventually sold to the pastry shop where we picked up our egg tarts. So we are having the original recipe that the monks came up with here.
Another place to visit is Belém Tower. The tower is built on the banks of the Tagus River, and it was meant to act as both a defense system and a ceremonial gateway into Lisbon.
Behind me we have the Monument to the Discoveries, which celebrates the age of seafaring and discovery between the 15th and 16th centuries, and there are lots of famous explorers if you take a closer look. The Jeronimous Monastery is one of the most visited sites in Lisbon. It's also one of the best examples of late Gothic Manueline architecture, so have a close look at the intricate detailing when you visit. Really cool thing that we've noticed about Lisbon is that there's a big kiosk culture, and you can find these little kiosks in almost every park you go to. And here you'll find people just hanging out, enjoying a drink, having a little snack, and it seems to be a popular afternoon pastime. So we're gonna go to a little kiosk as well and enjoy a little something something.
For a different view of Lisbon, consider taking a ferry to the other side of the Tagus River. You'll get some great shots of the city, and it's a really pleasant ride, especially if you luck out with blue skies and sunshine.
It is lunchtime here in Portugal, and today we took the ferry over from Lisbon to Casillas. And this is a great place to eat seafood because we're right by the Tagus River and fresh seafood is available at every single restaurant. So we found a local little spot. Sam has ordered salmon and I've ordered halibut. So we're waiting for that to arrive, and then we're going to show you some Portuguese seafood. So our food has finally arrived, so it's time to take a tour of the plate. So have a look here. This is my halibut cooked on the grill, and we've got broccoli, carrots, and boiled potatoes with olive oil on top. Looks delicious, and I'm ready to dig in. Nice fresh halibut. Really juicy, and it's so good with the lemon squirted on top. It's a really nice light dish. That's good because I've been snacking all morning, so I kind of need a light lunch at this point. But look at that, it's nice and golden but still juicy in the inside. Really good selection. And I also really like that the food here in Portugal, whenever you order fish, it usually comes with boiled potatoes and lots of veggies on the side. So I feel like I'm being healthy. And the flavors are just enhanced when you pour olive oil over top. It's just such a simple recipe, but it's so good. You seem to have a monster meal right in front of you. Tell us, what did you get?
Yeah, I got the salmon steak, and if you take a look down here, you notice it is a very thick cut. And I've been having this almost every day since I've arrived in Lisbon, so this is my favorite thing to eat in Portugal for sure.
I know, it's so good that we can't get sick of it. And look at the size of that steak. Like, it almost takes up the whole plate.
The only difference between our two plates is that you had steamed or boiled vegetables, and I have like a little garden salad over here.
Ooh, looks
so
good.
That's nice and healthy.
So that has onions, carrots, a little bit of cabbage, lettuce and tomatoes.
This is the reason we came here. We took the ferry across the river.
For fresh fish.
Fresh fish. This is my first bite here. Oh, so I can see it. A little bit of the bone.
Well, was it worth the ferry ride over?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Glad to hear it. Casillas lies on the south bank of the Tagus, and it was once a quiet fishing village. It makes for a really nice day trip, and they have some great restaurants serving up fresh grilled seafood, so bring your appetite.
A fun way to get around Lisbon's hilly streets is by riding the trams. There are different lines across the city, but number 28 is the most popular one with visitors.
For another scenic look at Lisbon, you can visit the São Pedro de Alcântara lookout. Here you'll get some nice views that include the castle.
Rua Augusta is a lively pedestrian street that offers a mix of shopping and restaurants. Just keep in mind that the prices can be a little higher since this area is primarily geared at tourists.
The Commerce Plaza is another one of those iconic sites in the city. It was once home to the Ribeira Palace, which was sadly destroyed in the 1755 earthquake. There are a few little cafes on the fringes of the square, and it can be a nice spot to people watch.
The Santa's Justa lift is an elevator that connects the lower streets of Baixa with Carmo Square, and it is the only remaining vertical elevator in Lisbon. Though it is meant to serve a functional role, it is also quite popular with visitors who find the elevator a novel idea.